Wolf Capital investors. Unfortunately, the title and the thumbnail of this video is not clickbait. And I'm going to explain why it's not clickbait here in just a second. But let's start back from day one really quick, and we're going to give you a high-level overview of the chain of events. Wolf Capital started off quoting 2% daily. Then within months or weeks, they took it down to 1.5% daily. Then what happened after that? Within about a few months after that, say a few weeks actually, to be honest with you, they took it down to a 0.8 to 1.1% guaranteed every day. So all of these were guarantees, right? Which should be setting off alarm bells for Ponzi scheme in the first place. But let's be that as it is and move on to the next thing. Then within days of setting it at 0.8 to 1.1% guaranteed ROI on your money every single day, they took it down and said, hey, there is no more guarantee. We're going to a variable, and we are going to admit that we were a Ponzi scheme. And essentially, now we're turning off withdrawals, we're turning off deposits, and we have to make up for the Ponzi gap. So admittedly, multiple times they said that they were a Ponzi scheme, which is absolutely illegal to run in the United States, especially when one of your founders, the main person that's actually trading the funds, is a United States-based citizen that lives in Oklahoma and works in Texas, Travis Ford, if you'd like to know who that is. And then secondarily, they also said that your deposits were secure, guaranteed, and that you could withdraw anytime you want. We now know that that is not true, okay? Because they lost over half of the money. And most of that money, from my other videos, as you can see, were actually taken out, and the deposits were brought in, and then they would go out to new investors or to old investors. The new investor deposits would go out to old investors. So with that being said, everybody make sure that you smash the like button, hit subscribe, boom, bang on the notification bell, comment whatever you want in the relevant sections. We're going to get straight into it because this is very pertinent information. I will apologize in advance that this is not going to be the typical, there's a lot of sound effects and GIFs and stuff like that. I'm literally recording this. I'm not going to drop it live because for some reason the YouTube algorithm does not like to recommend live videos after they're done, but I'm going to drop this in long form content and hopefully this helps you. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is I've done half a dozen videos on these guys. Okay. And the first thing that I want to point out is that essentially everybody thought that I was just, and this is, a misconception. They thought that this was just a coordinated attack. So I want to show you something actually, and I want to kind of touch on that because there's a reason why I do this stuff. And one thing that I can assure you is that it's not because I am trying to FUD a project or, gain notoriety, clout, views, subscribers, comments, money, or anything like that from these videos. And I'm actually about to show you what I mean by that. So this is a paid AMA that I did. This got over 2,000 views, and I get paid to do this, okay? This is another paid AMA that I did, 1.5K views. This is another paid AMA that I did, 3.4K views, right? Here's another paid AMA that I did. Again, I get paid for this, okay? I make money off of this, all right? One of the only ways that I've monetized my YouTube channel, right? Besides running my own projects, wolferfinance and PreSend. This is another paid AMA, 3.1K views. Now let's compare those views. And this is a non-paid video, right? 1.2K on Hex, 1.7K on GS Partners, right? Let's go all the way down here and look at Novatech, 4.2K views, 1.2K on Goldbridge, all the SAFU videos. Now let's compare that to what I get on Wolf Capital. 600 views on the last one, 800 on the one before that. Let's see, 700, 990, okay? So I'm not getting all of these crazy views that I think everybody thinks that I am. And it's not like monetizing my audience. It's not monetizing my account. I actually gain relatively nothing from doing these videos other than the fact that the 6.4K people that I already have subscribing to my channel can now pick that out and potentially be saved from putting their money into this project, which has now stopped anyone from being able to take any of their money out when they said that they were going to ROI everybody. And let's talk about the ROI really quick because the ROI is not actually an ROI. ROI means return on investment. Go look it up. Doesn't mean return of investment. And you're not getting a return of investment. There's that. They have They gave people last week the ability to unstake up to whatever their deposit was, obviously minus the 10%, because the team doesn't want to take a hit. Why would they give you up? Why would they give up their money? They lost all of yours, but they get to keep theirs, right? So why would they give that up? Or why would they give you a full refund plus interest? Weird. Wolferfinance did that. We said, hey, anybody that doesn't want to be involved, that is perfectly fine. We are okay. And we will give you a refund on your whatever. And we will give you a interest on top of that. We did that. We did that. These guys did not. Okay. They actually said, we'll give you all of your money back minus 10%. We're going to keep our cut. Okay. So this is an issue. All right. Now, I do appreciate some of the people kind of giving me, because I don't do this for notoriety, but I do appreciate it when I see stuff like this, right? DrewWolfer was right. We won't fall for any more of their lies, right? This is all in the Discord, and I screenshotted all of this so I didn't have to go through the Discord, waste everybody's time by searching for all of this stuff. Funny that after we all should have invested in WarFi, DrewWolfer was right. I didn't tell anybody to invest in WarFi, but that's neither here nor there. But I was, pretty correct about this project. Sad thing is DrewWolfer ends up being more honest than that these guys are here, mods not included. Probably all fake and just relied on Ponzi trades. We're fake, like DrewWolfer said. And then this is actually NZ Low Key. He's a wolferfinance investor. And I encourage people to go and look into wolferfinance. Wolferfinance, a legitimate company with legitimate revenue that master and validator nodes. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It has none of those principles. We literally host master and validator nodes for the blockchains that you've heard of: Ethereum, AVAX, Flux, FTM, all of them. Go check it. It's in our treasury. Go look at our FTM validator. It has our logo on it. All right. So anyways, my whole point is, you can't blame DrewWolfer, who called Wolf Capital out and backed himself up with his own numbers for the collapse of this project. Look at the management of this project. I agree. So anyways, there's about 10 of these. How stupid do people that defended the project against DrewWolfer must be feeling? DrewWolfer called it, all these different things, right? So I appreciate it whenever people actually recognize that. So I've got, probably 10 different screenshots of people saying this, and feel free to pause. This guy was saying, oh, I was incorrect. I would challenge you to tell me what I was incorrect about. This is one of their mods, so it doesn't surprise me that he would say that I was incorrect, even though they're doing exactly everything that I said that I was going to do. And this poetic justice person that was actually a pretty big maxi of Wolf Capital said, I called DrewWolfer a D-bag when he was on here. Can I go back and delete that comment? So, feel free to go check all of this out in the Discord. We're going to show you some other screenshots and talk about everything else that's been going on, because there's some very pertinent information. But I do want to stress that I appreciate whenever people recognize the work that I did and that I was trying to be on the right side of it and show people hey, this is what I'm seeing and this is why I think that it is problematic. And now it's starting to play out in real time. So I do appreciate the people, seriously, especially the people that were huge haters of that, coming around and saying, hey man, I have I'm man enough to say, what, you were right. So let's get into the first thing, the lies. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and add this to the stream. All right. So this same pattern emerges when 7 figures gets into someone's hands. Absolutely. 110%. This happens all the time. And that is why it is key to vet the people and understand who those people are fundamentally and understand what their capabilities are. Because whenever somebody brings in, $5 million, $9 million, heavy lies the crown. I know that because I've brought in $5 million for my projects, Wolferfinance and PreSend, and we're about to bring in more, right? Because we're opening up the CF. So if you want to see about that, go and, obviously follow the channel, but check out the CFs whenever they open, because those are two legitimate business models. PreSend has a pending full patent being filed on its software that is a wallet transaction security software that stops cross-chain transactions. And we're about to get into talks with the big players once we get this CF open and once we have our extension approved, which will be within the next probably 2 weeks. And we're going to go talk to these big players like Coinbase, KuCoin, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Brave and Opera, and get partnerships with them, revenue generating partnerships. That's an actual legitimate business model. So you can kind of see the sentiment, and this is why I'm showing the Discord screenshots, because I want you to see the sentiments inside of your own Discord, right? So it's over. Trav kept the money. How do we go from having money to refund everyone to having no money? And there will be no casino, bro. oh, this guy is actually 100% correct. Junior BRS 85. There's no casino. And even if they do come out with the casino, it's linked to this and no one's going to want to touch it. Right. And this guy's like, hey, we're rebuilding. A child would understand there's no coming back from this. The right thing to do is to pay us out what is left. Everything else is a rug, right? There is no rebuilding after this. I think that he's absolutely right. The reputations are done. And we're going to get into, OX, 0X, because I got on the AMA the other day. It was yesterday, I believe. And, I was talking to him, but obviously I got silenced because, obviously they're going to silence me. And then they won't drop the actual recordings either. I think this puts all past trade profits into question. It really does look like deposits were being counted as profits. I would say that that's a very, fair assessment as well. And then this person was talking about, where's it at? Give me 1 second there. Trav did mention he will borrow money from the bank rather than selling AVAX now. So please pledge and borrow so that Wolf Capital can get back on track. Then the moderator came back and said, not borrow, but get a line of credit that is being looked into. Okay, first off, Trav is not going to be able to get, millions of dollars worth of lines of credit. And if he does, it's very clear that he's not going to bring that into Wolf Capital. He's not even wanting to refund you. He's wanting to keep his money that basically came in from this project, $9.5 million. So they made almost off that 10% fee, $950,000. And then he says that he put $250K into the project. I don't believe that until he shows that. And we'll get into that in just a second because, there's some real stuff happening there. So what happened? He said that he's not refunding people because he put a bunch of money into an AVAX position that is now down about $1 million and 40%. So let's do some calculations really quick. What is 1 million? Divided by 0.4, which is 40%. That means that he put 2.5 million of the $4.2 million or of the $5.2 million that they had into an AVAX position, DCAing. He's saying that he did that all the way back to April. Okay. Now, I want to show what that actually means because that's not accurate. This is the AVAX BS that I'm calling. Okay. He said that, and JJ's crypto journey, this dude's a legend. He's actually, I know who this person is, and I've done AMAs with him in the past inside of Crypto Kingdom. I like this person, and he's calling it out like he sees it. He said that basically Trav said that they bought AVAX back in April, but they did a live screen share of their account on a Telegram voice channel, whatever. And I think they forget that they do these things or say these things and, whatever. But there was no AVAX in their account at that point. And this was like a few weeks ago. And so Trav is saying that he bought it back in April. Okay. Well, in April, he said that the reason why he bought it was because of an AWS partnership with Ava Labs. Well, that partnership was actually being announced in January. So to me, it just doesn't add up, right? And if you look at what this guy said, anyone else got rugged by Midas last year when the CEO Trevor lied about huge money issues until it all imploded. This smells very similar. I would absolutely 100% agree with that. And then, JJ obviously comes out and says, hey, the best part of this is that no true and proof is not true. And proof is pinned in Telegram if you're showing the whole portfolio on live to everyone on July 6th. Where no large holding of AVAX was found, right? And then this other guy, Poetic Justice, you call that top tier trading? Need to go back to trading 101. He should just quit now when we are behind and not lose everything chasing the money. So my guess is that, and you can go and check all these things out. And I would encourage you to go to these comments inside of the Telegram and click right here and go to that screen share and see Travis, screen sharing the account and showing everybody like, hey, we're in AVAX, but really they're not in AVAX. So that's a huge, huge mistake on his end. And hopefully they are in AVAX and he's not actually, saying that. Now, here's another thing that I want to talk about. They talk about how they're putting every amount of, capital that they have available into the trades. Okay. So let's talk about that, because if you take and you reverse engineer this trade, $84,000 lost. It was at negative 42%. Okay. So let's take that $84,000 divided by 0.42, which is 42.69%, $197,000. So if he's being honest, they're only putting $200,000. They only have $200,000 in the trading account to trade with. And I actually I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of believing that that's the case, because if you look, the trades are going down. The trades are going down. So what is 64? The amount of the trade is going down. So what's 64,000 divided by 0.5538%? $116,000. Let's look at the next one. 20% or $20,000 right down here. 20,385 divided by 0.411. $50,000. So he's literally losing, $60,000 in this trade, $80,000 in this trade. And if you start following the money, you start to understand that he's not actually trading basically any of the funds. And he put most of it into long-term holds and DCAs like he was talking about. Look at this one, negative 30,000. What's 30,000 divided by 0.5205? $57,000. So yeah, I think that he is probably putting all of the money into trades, but here's the issue. There's not a lot of money available to put into the trades, and he keeps losing on all of them. He's lost like $500,000, $600,000 in the past couple of weeks just on those trades. Now, what I want to also show you is this Anani Doc stuff, okay? Everybody's like, oh, I've been silent, but here's a suggestion. If Trav to go AWOL and keep being like this, the team should get in touch with Anani Docs. I know the CEO, Jonah, so I can help with this process. On the website, it says this project is KYC'd. If this really is, then Anani Docs is obligated to share the information about Trav for possible lawsuit. Here's the thing, and I'm going to stop sharing so that I can show and look you in the eye when I say this. I've already contacted Anani Docs and I asked them, hey, what happens if something happens here? What are you going to do about it? And they were like, oh, we can't do anything until we're contacted by the authorities. So they're not going to tell any of you, first off, who 0x is or Travis, where he lives or anything like that. You're going to have to figure all that out yourself, right? Second off, they're not going to report anything themselves. They're going to wait until something else is reported, and then when the authorities come to them, they will give up that information on 0x. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about. So don't bank on Anani Docs. Stop letting people KYC. Okay. That is dumb. And I'm going to go on record and say it. It is dumb to put your money into the hands of people that are just KYC. Imagine if Apple.com, or imagine if Apple, right, came out and said, hey, invest in our company. We're going to make you money. And then you said, who's the CEO? And Apple was like, oh, we can't tell you, but somebody knows, but they won't report it if anything bad happens. They'll only report it. They'll only give them the information if you guys report it. So what's the point of having a KYC provider then? There is none, because you still have to do all the legwork. All the investors that just got all of their money taken, frozen from them, and are not getting their payouts now. So here's another thing that I want to talk about. Okay. 0x is victim mentality. Okay. So 0x is trying to say that he had no idea, right? This guy says right here, this is one of their mods, right? Mainly Trav. 0x wasn't even aware of Travis's decisions. Shouldn't be his fault. And this guy right here, Robster, this guy's actually kind of a legend. And he says, or so we are led to believe. And then this guy says, oh, okay, well, OX was working on the casino. I can confirm that. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't stop any of this stuff from happening. Here's the issue. When you're a team, you move cohesively as a team. Even though 0x isn't doxed, and I pressed him on the AMA yesterday whenever I popped into their AMA and confronted him, and he said, oh, yeah, I'm going to dox. I said, cool, let's do it 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to drop a video. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. Oh, okay, so you're not going to dox. All right, cool. Here's the thing. Maybe 0x does actually want to give people back their money. Maybe he does want to do the right thing here, right? Here's the issue. No one knows that. No one can verify that. No one knows who you are. Anani Doc sure isn't going to do anything. I've already verified that with him. I can show you guys the screenshots if you really want to see them. I can show you guys the entire, email chain or whatever it was, Telegram message or wherever I was talking to Jonah. They're not going to do anything. He's like buddies with Travis anyways. That's what Travis says, at least. Maybe Jonah doesn't feel that way, but Travis sure feels that way. So with that being said, not an excuse. That is not an excuse. OX cannot come in here and say, oh, I didn't know. No, dude, it's your project. That is your business. You have to know. Okay. So if something's happening on the development side of PreSend, I know about it. If some money is moving around inside of PreSend, I know about it. We have a multi-sig, 4 people on it. Myself, Larry, my co-founder, my CTO, my CMO, every single person is on that. Every single executive level person has to know what's going on, period. So the fact that you don't have access to your own project's funds and Trav is keeping the, trading accounts from you, not an excuse, man. That's not an excuse, because you can have Google Authenticator on 2 different phones. I have it right now with one of my other people that's doing some trading on some other unrelated stuff to wolfcapitalfinance or PreSend. This is personal stuff. I have access to that account. This is like $10,000. You think I'm going to give somebody $10,000 and not have access to the account? This dude's giving him millions of dollars. They're bringing in millions of dollars and he doesn't have access to the account. First red flag. So I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that 0x doesn't have access to the accounts, first off. And second off, if he doesn't, then he's belligerently and abusively negligent for not having. And I would say you aren't fit to run a project of this sort at all. And we can get into all the other stuff too, because Trav's clearly not fit to run a project like this, because emotions get to him, and, YouTube videos and Telegram comments and stuff like that get to him. And he clearly can't trade. He sold you guys all on this ruse. Oh, I did a long hold on oil when oil was in the negative. Yeah. What a genius. Anybody could have picked that out and held it for a year. That's not trading. And look what he's trying to do on a long hold on AVAX right now with your money that he said that he was guaranteeing you 1.5% profits on every single day. Does that sound like he's trading? No. Go look in the Discord and look at the actual trades that he's taking. They all suck. He's literally losing hundreds of thousands of dollars every single week. It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. And people are like not calling him out on it, at least until now, right? So all of this OX stuff, OX didn't know about the funds being tied up and losing positions until recently. Travis was concealing this from the team. Look, any good founder would know all of this. Any good project lead would know all of this. And as you saw, OX made all of these different, and you guys can go out and, read all of these messages. And if you want to, pause it on the way there and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, any good founder is going to say, no, I need access to that. I need to know what's going on, because if I get pressed on it like he did on the AMA with me, he didn't have the answers. That's ridiculous. How can you not have the answers to your own project? Then on the AMA, I get banned by this chick, eSwiftG, and her literal title is Evolving Through DeFi as the comms director and AMA host for Wolf Capital. And if you were on that AMA, you heard 0x saying, oh, well, sorry, Drew, but, eSwift banned you. I thought you were the leader of this project, man. You're making decisions to let people ROI last week. Then those decisions got revoked by Trav, right? But somehow this chick right here, eSwift, has the ability to not let me come in and talk to you, even though you guys are on an AMA and you've been ducking and dodging me for an AMA that you asked me to do for like weeks and weeks, months now. Come on, man. That's crazy. And then I got this guy right here, Ashla. He's hitting me up, triggered, talking about all this stuff in the Telegram and saying like, oh, well, I'll come on your channel. I'm sorry, man. You're nobody. I'm not trying to be, mean about it, but you're nobody. You're not the project creator. You're not the project founder. You don't have access to the funds. You're not the dev. You don't know anything that's going on behind the scenes except for what they have told you. I want to talk to the man in charge, right? You're not going to come to the man in charge over here, not being the man in charge, and say, oh, I'll talk to you. And clearly this Ashley guy, he's not ready for a conversation with me. I can promise you that, because he's getting very emotional in his Telegram messages that he's sending me. He's sending me voice messages. I mean, this guy's going absolutely bonkers, right? He's freaking out. And I'm like, I don't know why you're getting so emotional about this, because it's just a simple conversation. But that proves to me that you don't need to be on my channel, because all you're going to do is get emotional. It's going to make your project look even worse, because I'm not going to. And I'm just going to ask you tough questions. And then I'm going to blow all of your answers to smithereens live for everybody to see. And it's going to make you all look bad. And I don't think 0x or Trav would appreciate me doing that. And out of just respect, not that I respect either of them, I respect them as human beings that live on this earth. But, as men and decision-making, authorities, I don't necessarily respect the decisions that they've made, but just out of respect for their project, that they're the ones that ran it, I would say, hey, I'm going to get those answers from the people that are actually involved. So with that being said, this whole 0x playing the victim mentality, that does not play well with me. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're the victim. Maybe you do want to give people their money back, but you're still at fault 110% because you're the project lead too. You're the dev, you're the co-founder, you're all of these things, right? But then you can't claim ignorance on this. Heavy lies the crown. You have to accept the good, and you definitely have to accept the bad, my friend. And that's just how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. So, now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about really quick is what is actually going to happen. Okay, so you can go into the Discord and see how the community's feeling about it. Everybody's going to leave. It's clear that everybody was going to leave in the first place. Whenever you gave them the ability to unstake, you had like $4.2 million. $1.6 million exited. And you can't blame that all on me on my 1,200 YouTube views. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, all I'm doing is reporting what I'm seeing. And if people understand and resonate with that, that's on them to make that decision. And that was 100% on you. Now, you ran a Ponzi scheme. That's proven. That's facts. We know that. You've admitted that a million times. You even called the gap the Ponzi gap. You stopped doing that because I called you out on like 7 YouTube videos saying that, all this stuff. You ran an unregistered and unregulated hedge fund. That's facts too. We know that. Now you've, basically held people hostage with their money because there's a difference in between selling a product, right? Like, oh, I sold NFTs, right? But those NFTs are you giving up your money and saying, I'm okay with taking this NFT. You now own this money. You took deposits and told everybody that their deposits were actually secure. Okay. That's what a fund does, not a business. That's a fund. Okay. So now that you have basically illegally locked up those funds, due to your own incompetence, your gross negligence of of handling those funds, now you are essentially holding all of your investors hostage with their own money. That's crazy because at the end of the day, and you're hiding behind this, oh, we're in a $1 million loss on an avalanche trade. That's your fault. That doesn't have anything to do with them. You had $4.2 million. You probably lost a few $100,000 here. 1.6 million was trying to unstake their money, give them their money back. Because at the end of the day, they're done. They're ready to leave. And they're probably going to come over to wolfcapitalfinance, and they're probably going to come over to PreSend with that same USDC because they know that they can invest in wolfcapitalfinance and PreSend with that same USDC on either ETH or Polygon chain via our regulated security offering on Acamona.com. And why does that matter? Probably for these exact reasons right here. Why are we pursuing regulation? To actually protect people. That's the whole premise of my channel. My channel has been like this forever. There's literally channels out there that started at the same time as me and they have 20,000 subs, but all they did was shill a bunch of turds like this, right? That's why their channels are big. But in the end, I'm going to win. Those channels will shed a brief but bright light, right? Because people will be like, well, you've gotten me wrecked on 30 scams. What has Drew done? He's called out like 100 Ponzi schemes and fake gurus and projects, and every single one of them, go back and check my channel, every single one of them played out exactly how I said. I have not been wrong about one. That's why I do this, to help people, to stop the people that have, subscribed to my channel. That's what they expect from me, to say, hey, I don't like this. This is what this looks like to me. Let's learn from the past and move forward to the future. So my bias is do what you said you were going to do and unstake people's money and give them their, what you're calling an ROI, which we know is not an ROI, but their deposits minus 10%, and pay out that $1.6 million that you owe to the people from last week that you said that you were going to allow them to unstake with, and let them come over to Wolfer and let them come over to PreSend if they want to, or let them take it elsewhere out of the crypto markets or put it somewhere else in the crypto markets that they feel more safe and secure. And again, this is why the SEC regulation matters, because stuff like this, people are actually held to a higher standard. People are actually held accountable. There's Edgars and filings and reports, and all of that transparency is built in. It happens like that for a reason, and there's a reason why we're pursuing those too with Wolfer and with PreSend right now. And it's not because it's easy. It's not because we wanted to do it. It's not because it's honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but we're doing it for the people so that we can protect them, which is exactly what this channel is meant for. So if you like content like this, obviously, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Boom! Bang on the notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. There's actually a person that is supposed to be filing a class action lawsuit on this guy in Oklahoma. He's talking about it in the Discord. He talked about it in my comments section. If he actually does it, we'll drop the information in the comments section. I'm not helping with it. I'm just delivering the information. He asked me if I would help get the word out about it. I told him I would if he wanted to do it. And, you know, that's that. So with all of that being said, if that happens, I'll drop it in the comments section, and then you can contact that person and go on about your business and do whatever you need to do with him. But I will not be involved with that, but I will deliver the information if it is factual and if it is actually accurate. So I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day, everyone.